Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I will be showing you the sketchbook that I've been using for 11 months. I started this last year in the beginning of March and I'm recording this video right when it's almost February, so it's been a while, but this one isn't actually as big as my last sketchbook, so hopefully this video isn't gonna be as long too. So let's begin. The first sketches on this are just from the tutorial. These are a bunch of faces that I did with pencils, and there are some bits of different parts of the face, like the eyes over here and some noses. There are some lips and eyebrows. There are more sketches. This one I did go, it's a city scene that I did with my acrylic gouache. I think the colors are too vibrant, but I really enjoyed painting this one. It's more of a study. This spread is made with more studies. This one is pencils on top of my highlighters, while this next one is, I think, Posca pens over my watercolors. I never really ended up figuring out what to do with my Posca pens, so I just sold them. I don't think they work that well with my style. And this one on the right I did with colored pencils and my brush pen. This was some more pen sketches that I put acrylic gouache on top. This other one is just acrylic gouache without any primary sketch under it. I was really trying to make myself learn how to paint and draw flowers more. I actually really like the colors for this one, and I think it was a good study, so I think it's successful. These ones I did with my Mia gouache, and I was trying to get more use of the purple and the greens on that palette because I noticed that I wasn't using a lot of the colors outside of the primary colors and the white and the black. So I tried to use the other ones for this one, but I think they kind of look way too similar, which is tragic, I think. This one on the left I actually really like. It's a study I did of darker skin, and for this one I didn't use any white. I mean, for her skin I did use white for the jewelry and I think for her dress maybe and the background, and I didn't think I would like it this much. I think I want to make a video of that out of that same topic. But this one on the right is a red pen sketch, which I then came back to many months later to paint over it with gouache. This next one was the pen sketch that was actually also part of the same sketching video as the last one. This one too I went over with gouache, and as the other ones in this sketchbook too. I just think that the colors are too similar on this one, and I just don't think it's really that interesting. This next one is a painting I did with my Mia gouache, and you can see on the side the little swatches that I did because gouache dries a different value as when it's wet, so I tested them out before I painted with them. Want to see what my palette looks like when I'm painting with gouache? You can check out that video. I will be leaving the link in the description. This is for one of my hair tutorial videos, and I think this might be for C hair. This one is a sketch I did of Anne Hathaway that I was gonna paint over. I never really got to do that. I do want to go back to this one, maybe in the future. This one is a little scene that I did, which I don't think aged that well at all, but it was just for fun. I was learning about linear perspective from a course I took on Domestika, and I think this was with watercolors actually. I just don't like the sky, I think. I think if I changed the color of the sky to something cool, like maybe a cool gray, maybe this painting would work better. But yeah, there's another tiny one, a tiny watercolor sketch that I never finished. This little scene I did with my red pens and watercolor confections. I think I recognize the purples and the greens on this one. This is a little pen and highlighter sketch. This spread I did with my Sakura Koi watercolors, and you can see the funky face on this one on the right. They're both supposed to be eating ramen, but after I messed up her face, I never finished the whole sketch. This one on the left I liked, which actually ended up in the video. This is another hair sketch for my hair tutorial video, and I really like how this one actually aged. I like how it looks like. This one on the right is very recent. I used my Holbein colored pencils for this. Oh no. Both of these sketches were for my hair drawing tutorial, and I decided to paint over the one on the left. I think I might have messed up by having these two together, so that when I close it, the pencils on the right one actually messed up with the face on the one on the left. And yeah, here are some more hair sketches for my tutorial. This one is unfortunate because I started to paint it and I forgot to wait for it to dry before I closed my sketchbook. So that's what happened, the paper stuck to it. These ones are just a few more examples for my hair tutorial video. This one I liked. This is also a part of the same video. This is for locks, and the one on the right is for braids. And this next one was a fail. I used my very thins for this, and I tried to go over it with my black pens, and it didn't work out, so I tried to go over it with gouache, but then I just was over it towards the end. Sometimes things just don't work, and I needed to learn to just let it go, and that's what I did for this one. This next spread I like. The ones on the left I just did with highlighters. I think it's just a quick light study, but the one on the right is also an experiment-ish, and it was with soft pastels and gouache. I really liked the ending. I just wish I could see more of the soft pastels. I am planning on another soft pastel video, this time with portraits, and I will be taking a Domestika course for it before I start, and I'm really excited for that. So these next ones, sketches that I did yesterday, maybe they were very recent. This one is just a quick study in cool shadows because I always have had a problem with painting them, and especially when it comes to the face. But the other ones are all just quick sketches that I did with my G-Tech pen and my highlighter. So these next ones are all Anne Hathaway themed. It wasn't intentional, I just ended up being recommended her after I viewed another one of her photos, so which is usually what happens with Pinterest. But the ones on the left I did with colored pencils and brush pens. The one on the right just didn't work out. It was a gouache painting, and it was for her as the White Queen. It's just so hard for me to get her face right. So the gouache ended up being too thick for me to work with, and I was scared of it cracking, so I just let it go. Heard so many horror stories of that happening to other people, so I just was too scared to go over it again. This next spread was for my drawing anime characters from memory video, which is still my most fun video to do. These are all the anime characters that I watched as a kid, and I really liked it. Sort of want to paint over them again. Maybe I'll just do it for fun by myself. This whole spread I did for a portrait sketching session video. The one on the left I just painted over with gouache, and I really like how it turned out. I think I like the colors. The colors in it actually aged better than I remembered. This next spread was for another video. I used ACRYLA gouache for both of them. I love the one on the right. I love the colors and I love the movement of her clothes. The one on the left, I just don't like how the colors worked out. I especially don't like the color that I chose for the background. I think I was trying too hard to get the colors to work together, but in the end it just started looking too forced, I think. This one is a little sketch I did with my highlighters. It was more of a value study that I never really finished. This next one is another Anne Hathaway painting. It was for her in The Princess Diaries, and I also like the colors for this one. These ones are for sketches that I never finished with my very thins. And actually this the start of a few sketches that didn't work. I think before this I was just painting so much, and I was also doing a lot of painting over my sketches, so it was really hard for me to sketch portraits after that. I felt like I was either trying too hard to get it to look right, or in my head I was also just leaving out some of the proportional errors because I'm so used to correcting them in the painting stage that it really took me a while to get back into sketching, and especially faces. It was just so hard. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. Well, now it's easy to spot that some of these features are just too big for their faces. But before this, I was really at a stump, and even now, after it's been a while, it's still hard for me to draw the same kind of portrait sketches that I was doing before. So that's actually pretty scary. You see a few more evidence to that happening. It's just me really trying to figure out what was wrong. This one on the left actually kind of like it's for a video where I demonstrated why I really love my red pens and my brush pens together, and I went over some of the areas with colored pencils. I really like those three together. I think they complement each other really well. I also like the sketch. I just feel like it's just too high up on the page, and I really wish I could pull it down so it fits the page better. And then here are a bunch more attempts of me trying to just get a portrait sketching right. I think this one with the ballpoint pens ended up faring a little bit better than the rest, but it's still not that great. This one I just went over with highlighters and my brush pen. This is actually really recent, and I don't know, it's still not that great, but at least it's better. This whole spread is for my perspective study. This one on the left is my initial sketch for my drawing architecture video, and the ones on the right are for my studies in finding the vanishing point. I just went over this one panel on the lower left with my watercolors, I think. These are more quick studies. This one is for another video. It is from the movie Crimson Peak, and I actually really like how this one looks. I love the lighting on it, but I can't get over the fact that her face looks like Jungkook. But other than that, I really love how this one turned out. These are really quick movie scene sketches that I was planning on saving for myself when I don't want to sketch but just want to quickly paint something. And then this next spread was also one of those sketches, but I did actually ended up painting them. The one on the left I did with acrylics. It's of The Dark Knight. The one on the right is for Arrival. You can see the differences in the finish of both these paints. I actually also have a video comparing the differences in the two mediums, and I will be linking it in the description too. This one is for another video, which if you've seen it, you might remember the frustration I've had while painting it. I actually really like this. I like how it ended up. This one is just a quick study with my brush pen and a highlighter, but the right one is Javier Bardem as Stilgar. I just really loved Dune, and I finally got to see it, so I just had to draw him. This next spread is sketches I did with my colored pencils and my brush pen. I really loved how these two turned out, but I especially love the right one. I'm sort of torn between wanting to paint it but also just liking the sketch so much. I haven't touched it, but I really want to transfer the sketch over onto a bigger piece and paint that. This left one is just it's just another anatomy study, but this right one I just love. It's a sketch I did with mostly highlighters, colored pencils, and my brush pen. I really wanted to capture the folds in her clothes, which I think I succeeded in. But yeah, that is it for this whole sketchbook. Thank you guys for watching, and I will be seeing you again soon.